I am Will Scott, the host of Dolphins Today. And let me tell you something, Dolphins fans. If you love the Fins, go ahead and like this video. We've been keeping you updated on all Dolphins news all off season long, and we'll continue to do so. And let's start this show by talking about Tyrann Mathieu. We mentioned him yesterday. He's visiting with the New Orleans Saints today. That is his first visit of the offseason. Could a Miami visit be next? Probably not, but we'll see. He's a long shot for the Dolphins to sign, but with the cap space that they've cleared up, you can never rule anything out. But I do want to kind of start today's show by talking about this fan-cited article that was released highlighting three of the best free agent fits for the Miami Dolphins as we now approach almost a month into NFL free agency. And they started with A.J. Johnson, a linebacker from Denver. Linebacker, a position I still think the Dolphins need to look at maybe upgrading either in free agency or in the draft. Maybe A.J. Johnson is the guy for Miami, ranked as one of PFF's top 5 all off-ball linebackers in the NFL for the 2019 and 2020 season. He was off to a great start in the 2021 season, but tore his pectoral muscle in week 6, missed the rest of the season. But he is expected, and I don't even think expected, he will be fully healthy for the 2021 season. Looking at the current depth chart at the linebacker position, this is a position that is good for Miami. I don't know if I would say great. I feel good about the guys they have right now, but I would like to maybe upgrade a little bit at that spot, and that's why I would like the move bringing in A.J. Johnson. He's a physical, reliable linebacker, very underrated free agent. So I'm going to type my S for sign in the comments, but let me know what you would do. Type S if you want to sign A.J. Johnson, or type P for pass. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring in a linebacker in free agency for the Dolphins. It might also make some sense to bring in a defensive lineman. Calais Campbell, obviously a very familiar name from Baltimore, played the last 2 seasons with the Ravens, and he has been incredibly good and incredibly consistent his entire career. Even at the age of 35, he is still a guy that I think can come in and make an immediate impact on that Dolphins defensive line. A 6-time Pro Bowler, made the All-Decades team, was a top 10 defensive lineman by PFF last season, and you have a chance to bring him home. He played at the U, so I would love to see this move for Miami. You look at what he's done the past couple years. He's getting older. His production is going a little bit down, but he's still been a very, very good, consistent defensive lineman coming off of a 2-year, $25 million deal with the Ravens. So I'm all for this if it's a team-friendly deal. I do not want to pay him a lot of money. I don't want to give him a lot of years on that contract because he's 35 years old. If it's a 1-year, team-friendly, cheap deal, I would do it. Otherwise, probably not. But I would give JC Tretter all the money. I mean, JC Tretter's my guy, Dolphins fans, as you know. My number 1 free agent target, and it was good to see FanSided have him listed as one of the top 3 fits for Miami. He would fit very well on that offensive line. He's one of the best centers in the league. And again, I'll say it, he needs to be Chris Grier's top target. He makes plenty of sense. You've cleared over $15 million in cap space the last few days with the Howard contract extension, with the Parker trade. What are the Dolphins waiting for? You know you have to upgrade at the center position. You know you have the money to do it, and you know he's available, so go ahead and do it. But pick one to sign out of these 3, Dolphins fans. A.J. Johnson, if you want A.J. at the linebacker spot, type A.J. Calais Campbell on that defensive line, type C.C. Or JC Tretter, type J.C. in the chat. And, of course, tweet hashtag JC to Miami. Let's get that back trending. If you haven't already, please hit that big red subscribe button now and sub to the Best Dolphins channel on YouTube. I would really appreciate it. As we said, we're going to keep you updated with all Dolphins draft news. The Fins only have 4 picks, but they're still taking time to meet with some different prospects. This week, they're working out Purdue corner Dedrick Mackey per Aaron Wilson. Aaron Wilson all over Dolphins draft news. We appreciate him letting us know about Mackey, who is from Miami. Booker T. Washington High School product, was fantastic last season. The 2020 season, the Big Ten only played like 6 games, irrelevant, but his last 2 seasons, 6 interceptions, 12 pass breakups, 76 tackles. He's a very underrated prospect in my eyes. And we mentioned yesterday that they met with Cortez Davis. Now they're taking their time to meet with Dedrick Mackey, work him out. It makes sense. He's a local product. But you're not going to take a look at him unless you're probably in the 7th round with one of your 2 picks. So I went ahead and I said, okay, who would be the best DBs available maybe in round 3 when the Dolphins pick at 102? Shockingly, Coby Bryant was available in the mock draft I did this morning. He was one of the best defensive backs in the country last season. In fact, he won the Jim Thorpe Award for best defensive back in the country, not his teammate Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. He was a first-team All-American. Now his stock has gone down a little bit since the combine. He didn't have a great combine, but maybe that's good news if you're Miami, because he might be available when you're on the board at pick 102. I would be shocked if he is. This guy is a first-round talent that's probably going to fall into round 2, maybe even round 3. But I think I would take him if he's available. Best player on the board mentality. You cannot pass on this guy if he's there for you in the 3rd round. Do you need a defensive back? No. I feel very good about that position for Miami right now. I don't think I'd take a DB until round 7, but if Coby Bryant's there, you got to take him. Another intriguing prospect is Cam Taylor-Britt from Nebraska. Now, I think I would rather take his Nebraska teammate Cameron Jurgens and put him on that Dolphins offensive line. But he's a very solid option for you at pick 102 as well that was available in the mock draft I did this morning on PFN. Mario Goodrich, a big name out of Clemson, first-team All-ACC selection. He was on the board, as well as Zion McCollum from Sam Houston State. Unlike Bryant, Collum rose his stock at the combine. He's a guy that might go early in round 3. 5-year starter at Sam Houston State, won an FCS national championship there, tore it up at the combine with a 4.43 40 and posted the fastest 3-cone time of any prospect at the combine. So these FCS prospects, very intriguing because they might get overlooked just because they played at a smaller school. Sam Houston State, a very big FCS program, could easily be an FBS program. So you have some familiarity with that team. They're in contention every year in the FCS, but still a very intriguing prospect from an FCS school that maybe is going a little bit overlooked. Alante Taylor out of Tennessee had a very good season for the Volunteers. He had a very good combine, 4.36 40, had 2 interceptions for the Vols last season. Let's jump now to round 7 when the Dolphins had their first selection in round 7. Josh Blackwell was the best DB prospect still on the board. 4-year starter at Duke, had a very impressive career there, had a good season in 2021. Really good bounce back year after a season-ending knee surgery in 2020. So he came back fully healthy and played at a high level. He's not my favorite prospect that was on the board here for Miami, but in round 7, when you don't necessarily need to fill a big need like you might have to in the 3rd or 4th round, it might make some sense to take a guy like Blackwell and add to the depth you have at defensive back. Jermaine Waller, also available. He's a guy I think is going very overlooked. He had 4 interceptions last season. That was tied for the ACC lead. Kyler McMichael, another ACC guy. I just noticed that I have 3 ACC guys on the board here. I mean, I went to Syracuse. Can you blame me? I'm all about my ACC guys. McMichael, a Clemson transfer, played 2 seasons at UNC, declared early for the draft. Probably should have stayed another year in school, but an intriguing prospect in round 7, as well as Chris Steele, who had 2 interceptions at USC last season. But those weren't even my favorite guys that were on the board here. My favorite prospect that was still on the board, the Coby Durant out of South Carolina State. We talk about how some of these FCS guys are going to go overlooked. I think that this is one of your better prospects, not just in round 7, but the entire draft if you're the Miami Dolphins. The 2021 MEAC Defensive Player of the Year went off in the Celebration Bowl against Jackson State. I had a chance to watch that game. South Carolina State shocked Jackson State in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. He put on a show there, winning defensive MVP. He was a converted quarterback, played quarterback, won a state championship at Lamar High School in South Carolina, then converted to DB when he went to college and crushed it. He's a very, very good prospect and someone that I would take if he's available in round 7. So in what round would you draft a DB? 3rd, 4th, or 7th? Again, the Dolphins do not have a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick. If Coby Bryant's available in round 3, I'm taking him. If not, I'm waiting for maybe a guy like Durant in the 7th round. Also, Bleacher Report put out this article yesterday about quarterbacks that are on the hot seat. And when they say hot seat, basically a make or break season for them in 2022. If they perform well, then maybe they're a franchise quarterback. If they don't, then maybe that is it for their tenure with the team. Here were the quarterbacks on Bleacher Report's hot seat. Sam Darnold, I mean, if he's still on the hot seat, I mean, his seat is exploded. I mean, I don't know how he's even on this list. I think we can forget about Sam Darnold. I would be shocked if he's under center week 1 for Carolina. I think they draft a quarterback. Jared Goff, another guy that might not be under center week 1 if the Lions draft maybe a Malik Willis or a Kenny Pickett. Jalen Hurts, absolutely agree. Make or break year for him with some of the talent that's around him in Philadelphia. Daniel Jones, I think we've seen what he can do, and I don't think he's the guy. Moving on to the last 3 that they had on this list, Kyler Murray's not in a hot seat. I mean, yes, he needs to perform well this season to get an extension from Arizona, but somebody's going to take this guy, even if Arizona doesn't want him after this season. He's too good of a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill, kind of similar to what I said about Daniel Jones. We've seen what he can do. He's a mediocre quarterback, and he's not going to win a Super Bowl in Tennessee, so maybe the Titans move on from him. And then Tua, the last quarterback they had on this list. Let's take a look at how Tua kind of stacks up with some of these other guys. Pretty similar numbers. Ryan Tannehill threw more interceptions. Jalen Hurts had more yards than Tua did. Tua more yards than Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones missed a few games. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, Tua has got to perform this year. With all the talent you've given him, we've seen what he can do in his first 2 NFL seasons. He had a winning record as an NFL quarterback in his first 2 seasons. Has he been getting too much hate? Yes, and I think he can be the guy, but I can't say that I disagree with that list from Bleacher Report. Tua has got to perform at a high level this year if he wants to be the Dolphins starting quarterback going forward, but I think he will. You've given him Tyreek Hill. He has an offensive line. I don't think enough people are talking about that. You've given him a pretty good offensive line, and you're still likely going to add someone on the right side or add someone at center. So I think Tua is going to have a really good year, but if he doesn't, it'll be very interesting to see what the Dolphins do going forward at the quarterback position. Thanks for watching this video. Looking forward to getting back in studio tomorrow, hopefully. This has been Will Scott with Dolphins Today. Go Fins.